Welcome to the world of anime recaps, and today we will go over the show Vinland Saga 2019. The show is set in the old Viking age when Viking mercenaries killed people for pure satisfaction. Our show starts with a man named Thor looking at the horizon while laying down on the beautiful and lively fields, resonating life in itself. As Thor is gazing at the sky in the rich land, he gets called by his wife Helga, who's holding their child. It turns out that Thor was just daydreaming and was actually in a war of Vikings in 987 AD. Thor is accompanied by Thorkel, who's another human killing machine. Thor is a strong warrior and can be seen demolishing hordes of enemy soldiers as the war continues in the ocean. Thor ends up falling in the ocean while fighting an enemy soldier, and after killing the soldier, Thor decides to swim away from the war instead of rejoining it. He swims to the land nearby, and the scene shifts to a time skip of 15 years. It's now 1002 AD, and Thor has now settled in Iceland, a land full of snow. He's accompanied by his wife Helga and two children, Thorfinn and Ylva. Thor is spending a happy life along with others of his village. He helps other villagers to build things using his strength and skills. Another villager named Leif can be seen telling the children of the village stories about lands far away that are rich and fertile. He calls them Vinland and mentions to the children about how he wishes to explore it after traveling on his boat as well. He tells the children of the village about how he visited lands far away from Iceland that were covered in greenery and made friends with the native people over there. The people of Thor's little village are spending their lives rather happily that suddenly one day, as Thor and Ylva are cleaning snow from the roof of their house as usual, Ylva falls down from the roof and ends up feeling like there's something under her in the snow. She digs the snow to find out that a man was buried in the snow. Thor takes him inside to warm him up and remarks that he isn't a member of the village and must be a slave who ran away. The man miraculously opens his eyes and tells Thor about his family. Thor's village is visited by a mercenary group of ruffians led by Halfdan. It turned out that they're looking for a runaway slave. Halfdan visits Thor and demands him to return his slave when Thor buys the slave's life for 8 of his valuable sheeps. As Thor's life was about to get back to normal, another boat of mercenaries arrives at the village looking for Thor. It was led by Floki, who was Thor's former partner. He asks Thor to bring some men and fight with them in England. As Thor naturally disagrees, he blackmails him by saying that he will destroy the little village. Thor loves in. Thor agrees to help him as he didn't want to risk the innocent villagers' lives. Thor later explains that he got tired of killing people and didn't want to take any more lives, and that was the reason he ran away. On the other hand, it is revealed that Floki was lying all along and actually just wanted to take his revenge on Thor. He hired a group of mercenaries led by Askeladd, a skilled warrior and leader, to assassinate Thor. Thorfinn suggests coming along but gets scolded by Thor. Thor takes 5 men and leaves for England after saying his goodbyes. Thorfinn was nowhere to be seen at that time. As their ship went deeper in the ocean, it turned out that Thorfinn had secretly come aboard. Thor scolded him a little, but the crew started to enjoy their journey. As they reach an area with cliffs on both sides, suddenly they get jumped by a shower of rocks from up top. They were trapped and surrounded by Askeladd's men. With no option left, they decide to fight against Askeladd's men, and Thor, being as mighty as he was in his prime, easily defeats most of Askeladd's men when he finally asks Askeladd himself to step forward and settle this bout in a fair duel between warriors. Askeladd steps in, and the two start to throw their hands down. Thor gets stabbed by Askeladd, but in the end wins after breaking his arm. Askeladd acknowledges Thor's strength, but pulls a cheap trick by making one of his men take Thorfinn. Even after winning the duel, the mighty Thor makes a deal for his son's life. Askeladd accepts his defeat and asks his archers on the top of the cliffs to shoot arrows. After many arrows, Thor finally passes away while still standing on his feet. Thorfinn and the others start crying after seeing such might and courage from Thor, as Askeladd decides to return since he got the job done. It turns out that a flame of revenge had it lit inside Thorfinn. As he got on the second board, Askeladd was taken with them. He swears in pure rage that he will take his revenge and kill Askeladd, to which none of Askeladd's mercenaries says a word. The men Thor took with him return to Iceland when Leif breaks the bad news to Helga and Ylva about the news of Thor dying in battle to save Thorfinn. The whole village was sad on the passing of Thor when Ylva also breaks in tears after trying her hardest to act tough. The village gets really worried about Thorfinn being missing. Askeladd goes back to his base camp, and poor Thorfinn challenges him to a duel after he refuses to kill Askeladd in his sleep. Askeladd makes the kid realize that he's weak after easily defeating him. Thorfinn sets off on a journey with Askeladd and his crew despite hating the man to his soul. Time passed, and after a few years, Thorfinn had become an absolute cold-killing machine. Thorfinn gets separated from the crew after they were planning to invade a new land. He gets injured while fighting some soldiers and is found by an old woman by the side of a river. The old woman who lives with their daughter took Thorfinn to her home in the nearby village. She treats his wounds, and after he wakes up, she gives him food to eat while getting him and his clothes all cleaned up as well. It is later revealed that the woman was doing all this for Thorfinn as he looked like her son, John, who was either missing or had passed away. Some guards from the English land later come to ask about any foreign people who had invaded their land, to which the old lady declines while protecting Thorfinn. While Thorfinn was receiving this motherly love from the old lady, it turns out that Askeladd's Viking were planning to raid and destroy the same village. As the attack was about to happen, Thorfinn tries to save the village residents, at least, and lights a fire to distract the English guards. As he kills the guards ruthlessly, the same old woman, along with other villagers, sees the sight and starts shedding tears. The Vikings attack and start killing the villagers. Thorfinn remembers his true purpose in life as he joins the group. It's been quite some time since England was invaded by the Vikings in Denmark. They continued to dominate the English and took over land domination. But the direction of wind changed when the King of Denmark pulled his forces back due to the trouble of the winter and decided to launch an even bigger attack next summer. Askeladd, on the other hand, plans to make some money as his crew comes across the Frankish people fighting for a fortress at the riverbank. He sends Thorfinn in as a messenger to make a deal with the people leading the attack on the front end. As they agree to cooperate for half of the treasure, Askeladd pulls his ships on the land and his men charge the front end of the fortress, creating quite the show as Thorfinn takes the enemy commander out on the top of the fortress. Askeladd's men get the boat through the lake and into the river while cleaning the whole fortress of enemy soldiers. When the Frankish come to check the treasure room, it turns out that Askeladd had already taken all the treasure, leaving an empty fortress behind. The crew dips as the Frankish start shooting arrows after getting pissed off and continue their adventure that no one knows will take them where. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more great anime recaps just like this. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.